El Rello on the beat.
Did you just use that ring to counterfeit money? No.
Hello guys, I came back once again. So I titled the video. I'm gonna address this stuff real quick and out of the way before I get into the whole the last trailer. For one, why was the first Lanterns trailer taken down? But from what I've heard, it was taken down over copyright issues. Is that something new, Batman? No. Multiple other TV shows have had copyright issues with music distributors where trailers have been taken down. James Gunn is not the first. He's not the last. Zack Snyder also went through it, but you know what time it is. This is not about the facts, about my emotions. And second, this trailer shows more details. It supports some things I say, and it could not, depending on one character, but depends. The main point still stands, but they show more green in this trailer, and you know what they're already saying? Well, I guess they show a little bit more green, so nothing they do would be good enough. No, just say that you hate it. Why are you even reacting to it? Just to bleed content. You're a war profiteer. But when the Democrats or the Republicans are doing the exact same thing, well, it's wrong. Why? Just like how they gaslight the public and use people's emotions, you do the same thing. What, because there's no bodies being lost, somehow it's justified when you do it, but it's wrong when the politicians do it? Once again, because I'm an average person, you can't judge me like you do a billionaire. BS. The reason why we judge them so harshly is because they should know better. They don't got an excuse of being broke. They don't got an excuse to do all these evil things if their lives are supposedly stable. Just like you don't. No matter how broke you are, no matter what happens to you, you can be a decent human being. Same standard across the board. This is what happens when you worship entertainment and people like they're gods. There are people. Same thing with politicians. Nobody is escaping ridicule. Nobody. But no matter what you do, no matter how much you try to do so, this is why I always say, it's best to do what you want and not try to listen to anybody else, because the customer don't know what they want until they see what they want. Until most of this stuff existed, nobody knew that refrigerator was going to work. Car so-and-so. They laughed at these dudes. Same thing with trying to fly. They clowned them. So, all these people saying the customer's always right, they tell you to sell you straight poison. So, fandom has gotten out of control. Like, this fandom stuff needs to stop. Like, no matter, are you serious? And then they try to paint it up like they're not a straight hater. They try to act like they're not just hating and that coming to a real point. There was nothing wrong with that first trailer. You're complaining about Dream. Y'all complaining about Hal Jordan. But pause. Zack Snyder was going to use Jon Stewart. Hal Jordan didn't even exist. Gets a pass. Why? Why? What is this obsession with this man? When these movies are coming out, you was just as harsh and just as hard, just like everybody else is in James Gunn. Oh. It's not about what's right or wrong. It is what it is. But on to the main point. This trailer helped confirm some of my theories. Some of my other theories not so much. Before I get into the trailer breakdown, the showrunner has come out doing an online article, and he's admitted that Jon Stewart is an anomaly. And the way he was chosen for the Green Lantern was not how Hal Jordan was chosen by Adam Sewer. Meaning, my theory about Jon Stewart being chosen because Hal Jordan is getting old is pretty much confirmed. Because why else would Jon Stewart be an anomaly? Why else would it be like they'll be clashing heads so strongly? And why is Hal Jordan so strongly trying to defend his position? Because they hired him because he was getting old. And how would you feel you put in 30 years, 30 plus years? Like, we'll get to the trailer, but Jon Stewart been watching this dude on TV as a kid for 30 years. And they tell you, well, they can't give you a good reason why you need to train your replacement. It's just, well, getting old, man. Getting old. But everybody else, well, since they're aliens, they got different lifespan, they can just, there's no question about what they're going to happen after their ring. But for John Stewart, it's just in case, right? All that work that I put in is just in case. But let's get into the straight into the trailer, right? Let's get into this. I discuss more of my ideas after this. But let's get straight into it. It starts off, we see the Green Lantern's ring on the table. And Hal Jordan says this ring is the greatest weapon in the universe. And the question is when and if you need to use it. Right? And he says it's a different ball game, Junior. And like I said before, like this whole tension back and forth thing, it is to a certain degree a personal issue on both sides. It's not just Hal Jordan feeling insecure about him getting replaced, had to change somebody else. John Stewart is also pushing this man's button. He's questioning Hal Jordan's career right now. Like he's just, well, maybe he never was potentially the best choice for the ring anyway. I'm telling you, we'll get to the rest later, right? The rings start to glow, and we see how Jordan make counterfeit cash at a diner or a casino somewhere out there Midwest, and it just and John Stewart is just like, did you just really just use counterfeit cash? I don't know. How Jordan's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you're talking about. Like, how can you hate the acting? That it is what it is. We get this outshot of a cloudy. Like, it seems like they're gonna be driving in that car that John Stewart, well, how Jordan make John Stewart crash in the first trailer for quite some time. Which is another point. It is confirmed by the showrunner it will be taking place over 2 different time periods. How? I don't know, because I've heard conflicting reports. I gotta read the article myself. Because one case, the whole mystery of the murder and things going wrong in this town started in 2016, about 10 years ago. Exactly right, and that's where Howard Jordan encountered the sheriff, and that's when the sheriff and Howard Jordan been beefing with each other. So when Howard Jordan says, "It's how she hates my guts," is because they already have a formal relationship trying to solve this cosmic mystery here. And then it goes 10 years into the future. Now the confusion comes from, we don't know, but it wouldn't make any sense if the premise is he's been training John Stewart for 2 months, but then the mystery starts 10 years ago, and 10 years later the ring hasn't still chose a person. Now it could be that, they've just been trading the ring back and forth. It's not John Stewart chance. Could be. But we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later, right? But it's nice imagery. John Stewart asks him, how did you get the ring? And Hal Jordan says, I damn sure didn't interview for it. And John retorts, you probably should have. No, wrong. He said, you know how I got it. And I sure as hell didn't interview for it. So, we'll see it later into the trailer. Like I said, John Stewart been watching this man on TV for years, so you would expect he'd be more respectful. But obviously, something has happened. We'll get to all that later. We get this awesome shot with Hal Jordan, and some goons try to light him up, full 360-degree around, green dome. I guess I'll down this support hill by myself. And John's like, oh shit, maybe you should have. I'm telling you, I'll get to it later. I think something happened. Something happened with Howard Jordan's career, whether in that 10-year gap or overall, where he's not seen as the man he used to be. Which we'll get to that. And Kyle's looking like, ain't no way you just said that, boy. Ain't no way, son, you don't said that to me. Hey, don't make me take off my belt. He looks like somebody's dad. How dare you? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But that's some funny stuff. And John personally believes it's something you gotta work for. Work for something to have the power with the ring. And the way the conversation is going, you gotta ask, why is John acting like this? Because it's one thing, in the first trailer, it was like a friendly rivalry back and forth, sports slick, old man, dinosaur. But it seems like the animosity is kicked up a little bit more. Right? A little bit more. It seems like there's like a personal ordeal. Now, John was chosen by the Guardians. But Hal Jordan, on the other hand, we don't know if this relationship started out on the rocks from the beginning, or, like, over time, it started to spoil by them having to work together, quote unquote, as some people may call it. Because it seems like the animosity is like real. Like It's to the point where these two seem like they're just one person's a human being and the other is an alien. Like this specimen right here. Like I don't think these two like each other at all. They may be fighting in between cuts in the camera. Oh my gosh. I ain't got anything to say, old man. Yeah. Tiger. Tiger. If you see this shot, Jon Stewart, more than likely, watching TV with his brother, or his older brother. We do know his mom and dad is going to be in the TV show. What relevance will the brother play? Not much, but it'll add and enrich his backstory. But what I was hitting towards earlier, of why the relationship may be different, well, it could be some of his childhood friends. Could be. Because, like, there's two kids there. I invited kids in my house when I was younger. And then Hal said, I've been doing this ever since you was a baby, since you was an infant, before you was even conceived. How did before you was even thought of, before your dad even saw your mother, I was here putting in work, sport, son. And he said the only way you're gonna get this ring is over my dead, lifeless carcass. I'm telling you that the Guardians caused. Well, I don't want to say caused all of this, but it's just. We'll get to some other stuff later. And how Jordan flies off. We don't know if he's flying off because he's mad, or he's flying off. He gotta go do something else. Oh yeah, I need to forget. We'll get to the whole. Why is it only one ring? But you see that something is breaking the sound barrier. It could be Hal. It could be John. We don't know who it is, but someone's breaking the sound barrier in the atmosphere. Well, not in the atmosphere, in the sky. In the same way. How Jordan in the first trailer was like, it's the way she hates my guts. Jon Stewart's talking to somebody like, I think he likes me. But this writing here, but this right here, this gonna be something special, boy. I tell you. I can't remember this character's name. She saw in the first trailer, but not John. How Jordan drops down in front of her from flying with the ring. Now this could be a point from early in the first trailer. We see him blasting off, or could be from the moment before this, where he's also blasting out. But he stops in front of somebody, looking like, hey. But this kind of reminded me of Batman v Superman. It was just like, how's it going, buddy? I heard you was talking some shenanigans. And John says he's lying to us. Like I said before, the mayor's family, I'm pretty sure they're tied into it. Is whether they know what it is, and they're siphoning power from it, or they know it's on their property, and they're still looking for it for like some type of wealth. They are fully aware. Are they beefing with the aliens in this place? I say they are. Yeah, it could be in shot later after this. But I said they are. But like I said before, I have my opinions, but it might have changed. We'll get to it at the end. And Hal says we're not going to leave here till we find out what they're having. Now this shot here with Hal Jordan and the sheriff, this could be in 2016. This could be now. But I think this shot here is in 2016. Why? There's no Jon Stewart. Usually you see these two together like not Remy and Skippy, not Tom and Jerry. What's a duo that's like each other? What, Billy and Mandy? I was watching that like yesterday or something like that. But Billy and Mandy, some good stuff. But apparently this is where Hal Jordan first meet the mayor family and go over the usual discussion of investigation, and maybe something here that breaks up the friendly nature between the two. But the way the showrunner explain the relationship between the sheriff and Hal Jordan is that it's less of a FBI coming down on the local government and more of a jurisdiction thing, where one believe, and it's more of a local sheriff jurisdiction with the Green Lantern's jurisdiction, and how those two things are conflicting, and how they both believe they should be potentially the best persons for the job, or the one who should be best fit to investigate it. So it's not like a hierarchy thing. It's like a personal pride and beef type of thing. The way he elaborated. We got this shot of Hal Jordan. Now this shot of Jon Stewart. This obviously is later, in current time. Like I said before, I don't think it'll make sense. We'll get to the whole 2016 versus current timeline type thing. But I think this is currently. Where is Hal Jordan at this point? We only see Jon Stewart with the ring, and with the battery, with the lantern. Where is Hal? And he's facing down these guys with the hat, more than likely working for the mayor family. And the salient question from last trailer is, why is Jon Stewart dressed like this? I never it's like he's kind of look like he's in a hospital gown, or like he was like in prison or something like that. And we will get into what he looks similar like. Now, was he imprisoned by somebody? We don't know. Maybe he was like, they look like some type of patient. I don't know why I didn't notice this in the first shot, but that's what it looks like. Now, once again, could these goons in the background be aliens? Possibly. Could this be taking place in 2016? I doubt it. Possibly. Possibly. You never know. And how John Stewart's like, why does the bad guys always think they got somebody surrounded? Like, why do you always think this? This ain't the 1500s. You just can't surround somebody and just, well, I surrender. That's not. You gotta get with the times, dinosaur. Get the shot of John back when he was younger. And we see a news reporter ask Hal Jordan, how were you chosen for this? And he's getting interviewed about being a Green Lantern. And we get to see him in that suit we saw in the first trailer. And John and Hal Jordan says the news reporter asks, "How were you chosen for this?" And Hal Jordan responds, "Are you afraid?" Like I said before, I personally believe that Jon Stewart used to look up to Hal Jordan at one period of time in his career, but like any old Hollywood actor or YouTuber, some type of controversy happens in Hal Jordan's career where it changed Jon Stewart's entire perspective on Hal Jordan. Now, what that could have been, it could be something small, it could be something bad. Like I said before, it could be something else that's triggering Hal Jordan's insecurity, that he wasn't able to save somebody or something. Maybe he lost a whole city during a conflict. Something happened where you can't blame Hal Jordan all the way, but most of the public still blames him no matter what happens. And maybe that's where John comes in with this personal dislike for Hal Jordan based on something that happened in his career. While Hal Jordan is just like, not only do I gotta train this guy, not only does this guy not really like me anymore, you want trash talk me and my career? I've been doing this for 30 plus years just before you was even conceived, son. And you have the audacity to question how I used the ring when you never used this ring in your whole life? Are you out of your mind, boy? Are you out of your mind, sonny? Going insane. Put the apple juice down, son. Take some of this prune. Oh my God. And it's add even more character, more flavor, more extra sugar to the Kool-Aid. There's so many different ways. Like one of the greatest thing I'm seeing from this trailer is the character. The character of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan is going to show through so great. It really is. It's everything a person could want from a Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart show. But it's not majority taking place in space. It doesn't have to. I'm sorry. What was if you look back on it, most of the Green Lantern stories, how many of them take place in space? You could argue that Sinestro has no reason for most of his stories to be on planet Earth. Somehow he end up does, don't he? And we have this space shot, and it looks yellow. It looks yellow. Now, it could just be the whole shot breaking the atmosphere, and this is the sun reflecting, but that actually does look yellow. Could this be Sinestro? I'll hold off on that. We will get back to this, but somebody's going to a desert-looking planet looking like, wait, is that Starkiller Base from Star Wars? That's what it looks like. Where the Jedi was getting the Kyber crystals from. It looks like Starkiller Base. It looks like it. It looks like a yellowish color, but it could be the sun reflecting. And we have this shot of Hal Jordan suited up in that suit we saw in the last trailer. It opens up, and we see who's obviously Sinestro. Yes. Sinestro is here. This is pretty much who this is. There's no, the guy's in prison, and he got pinkish, purplish looking skin. Come on, it's Sinestro. And he's at prison at this point. Now, we don't know if he's in prison. Let's just say he's in prison on his planet, right? He's been here for quite some time. This could be taking place in 2016. He could have escaped from this time. He could have not been. But he's, once again, Jon Stewart's not here. So this has to be when Kyle is young. Well, when Hal Jordan is younger, and he's coming to Sinestro to ask him about some help. We knew that Sinestro was going to be in the show. The showrunners won't reveal how much involvement he's going to have. But why would he be coming to Sinestro? Because it could be, this is like two different paradigms I'm coming with, right? It could be this is after he has the Yellow Lantern, and he's been juiced up by fear. Or this could be before it. And this is a Sinestro pre-becoming a Yellow Lantern. Then what would Hal Jordan be coming to ask Sinestro about? What happened in 2016 that led to a big 10-year time skip where they was not able to figure it out, but also allowed Hal Jordan to go to Sinestro for answers? Because it could be when Sinestro turned bad. Now this could be the two are still on talking terms. Cause we do know that they were master, well, not master and apprentice, a teacher and student, and that the showrunner has mentioned that's the type of like one of the key things about the show is mentorship and how the pupil deals with what they've been taught compared to who they are. Like Sinestro wasn't perfect, and how Jordan training with Sinestro could lead to how Jordan developing some bad traits that are now affecting his relationship with John Stewart. Like I said, I don't think it's just a one-sided street where it's John pushing Hal's buttons or is Hal just pushing John's button. I think they're going back and forth, like intentionally over something. It's like butting heads, and it's deeper than just, well, I might be getting replaced. It's me getting replaced, something extra. What you've done in your career, something extra. It's not just with the cosmic horror. This is like a personal ordeal. Now, how they will become it, who knows? But it just, you get to see Rich Homer Sinestro, and it just, I don't know. There's something about a classic DC. This is why, like, I don't care what anybody says. Marvel, it would never, in my opinion, be the face of superheroes. Because to this day, most people see superheroes in skin tights with a cape. When you talk about when people think of a superhero, like what a superhero is, the villains and the concepts, they think of DC characters. Now, sure, everybody got their personal favorites. When people think of a superhero, it's somebody in skin tights. It's somebody like upholding this will of justice, or it like DC itself as it exists, whether you like it or not, will always be the face of superheroes because there's so much foundational bacon in it. But what about Iron Man and Marvel and the rest of them? Yes, it exists, but it's just it doesn't. It's not the same. Like, no matter what Marvel has done the past 10 years, it will never change the outlook of what superheroes started as. It just won't. It will always be that skin tight. So that's when you see a classic villain like Sinestro. It's just like, no matter what you think his design is, no matter what you think about how much story you know about him, it's just like, it carries a legacy. It carries an impact. And when you say Sinestro, or Gorilla Grodd, or Reverse Flash, or Black Manta, or you say any of these characters from the Legion of Doom, it doesn't matter what story you know they from. You recognize these characters. And it's, once again, people don't understand how comic books work, nor do they care about it. But it is what it is. But back to the trailer. And we have this shot going back into John Stewart's past. And we will get to the whole thing they keep saying. Are you afraid? John inside the Marine Corps. And we see Hal, I believe, or John, like punching the wall. Well, not punching the wall, placing the wall. And we see, finally, Guy Gardner. And he's coming to visit somebody, and that person is in jail. And we said before, Nathan Fillion said he could be dropping the most F-bombs he ever done in his whole career. And he will be in the show. Now, by how much? We don't know. We don't know. Because Hal was chosen. Hal was chosen by Adam Sheriff. We don't know how Guy Gardner was chosen. It could be the classic backstory, it could not. But someone has said only every sector has 2 Green Lanterns. Every one of them. So like I said before, I don't know how Jordan could have been off the planet for like 10 years. We'll never really know. Until he had to bring John Stewart back into the fray. But who was he looking at? Who was Mr. Guy Gardner looking at? I think it's Hal Jordan. Not Hal Jordan, John Stewart. Because that scene earlier, we got the battery ring. That scene earlier could be when he breaks out of jail. We have that whole scene when he's crashing his gun through the door. But the question is, let's say he was imprisoned by the aliens or whatever's controlling the people in this town. Where is Hal Jordan? Once again, it's a lot easier to explain why Hal Jordan is by himself compared to why John Stewart be by himself. Because he don't really have the ring. And we don't know how well developed he is with the ring. So this is him getting more used to and accustomed to the ring. Then why would he be by himself? If he get captured, that's one thing. Or he getting dragged off. But then, like, for him to get in prison. Because the clothes look eerily similar. The same color, right? The clothes look very similar to what Sinestro is wearing, right? Let's go back. It's similar, same color, sleeves, but it's not one-to-one. So who imprisoned this man? We'll the rest of this later. But get this shot of the show. And we have the shot of John and Hal. Now this looks like it's on a different planet. It's not. It's somewhere on Earth in the desert. But if it is on a different planet, then, well, things gonna get real. Things gonna get real, real bad. If it, because well, everything else happened in the trailer in Sinestro, and they had to go off planet or something. Well, things would be going down. This is like the framing of this shot is all that yellow in the background. Could be sunset, right? But it's just I don't know. It could be taken as either way. Kyle Chandler had the jets going over. If you have someone doing a military shoot to like a mother and father, that could I don't think it's be a child, Howard Jordan. Could be somebody who lost their life recently. And at his funeral. Yeah, because that shot was shown after Kyle Chandler showing that he's gonna be Howard Jordan in the trailer. So could we be getting a full Howard Jordan backstory in this show? Along as Jon Stewart? It's possible. Getting knocked off of the chair. Where's the information? Where is it? Getting hit with that alien gun. The neuralizer. If we see the woman from earlier, with the jean jacket in the first trailer, we see a car explosion. Jon Stewart is booking it down the road. Look at him. He's booking it. Look at that somersault. See John with the sniper. And I doubt this is in the past. Pretty sure this is like current day. Why? Because we see like a gigantic explosion in the woods. Now, could this be a flashback to Afghanistan and he's just covered in mud? He's wearing the camouflage. Yes. It very well could be. But that doesn't look that simple. And there's some ambers of green here. I don't see if I can zoom this in. There could be some ambers of green. And he's helping out Howard Jordan in the woods. But what place would be Midwest, desert, and have woods like this? And plains? And I guess Montana, Ohio? I guess like somewhere around South Dakota or what I'm thinking about it. Colorado. Yeah, Colorado got some stuff like this. Who knows? Cause that explosive is a massive. There's no way he's just sniping some C4 in Afghanistan. That's gigantic. Come on. And Jon Stewart says he was raised to be brave and fearless, and I'll do this better than he's ever done it before. And I'm pretty sure this lady, whether she's a normal human, or a reporter or something like that, or this is one of the guardians of Odin, or disguised as a human being. Cause who else would he say this to? Who else? Wait, say it to the sheriff? Why? She's like don't really like both of them being here. She wants them to get the fuck out of town. And let's just say this lady's like a reporter or something. They don't have no significance around here. What difference does it make? Like, even with the Howard Jordan controversy, why would that be important for her to know how Jon Stewart was raised and how he'd be doing better than ever before? And she says, go and get it. Hey, I could be wrong, but it seems like it could be one of the Guardians or in disguise. It would be the first time, but then you have to explain why it would be there. It depends how dangerous the cosmic threat is, and we'll get into it. We see Jon Stewart first time in the trailer with the ring. Well, actually using the ring. The shot looks eerily similar to how Howard Jordan was like wearing the ring to shoot that guy he was interrogating. We got lanterns. August 16th. Is that everything? That's everything, boys and girls and the children in the back. As I said, that's the whole trailer. I think the trailer's great. Somehow topping off the first one. But as I said before, some things stay consistent, other things not so much. And the fact that Jon Stewart knew Howard Jordan since he was a kid, since they apparently, like, I can't fully put into words to explain how significant that is to how Jon Stewart is acting and how the relationship is. Now, some people might be like, well, what if Jon Stewart, and you know how they say, never meet, buddy. Stop saying quotes that you don't believe. Stop saying stuff because you think they sound good. Everybody using these same old quotes. Well, you know, either you die a hero or live long enough to become the villain, or never meet your heroes. Number one, the whole eventually become a villain. How many are these people becoming villains because they were a hero for too long, or these people start becoming villains because that's who they always were? Second case, never meet your hero, so you put unrealistic expectations on a person that you've only seen on TV for 2 hours. You haven't spent 24 hours with these people. You never met these people in your personal life, so you put unrealistic expectations or expectations that you develop in your own sick, twisted head of a person that you've never met, who's an actor, who's a boxer, who's a game developer. You don't know these people in their personal life, so they just show you and just give you a genuine interview of how they feel at the time, and that's their whole personality. But cut that BS out, idiot. But as I was saying, it holds very heavy significance that these two used to know each other. Well, Jon Stewart used to know Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan was this public figure with the Green Lantern ring. Now, we don't know when Guy showed up to the planet. Of course, Guy and Hal Jordan are both older. Like, Nathan Fillion is like in his 50s. And like Kyle Chandler's in his 60s. So, you can still have one being older than the other one, but it's just they still from that general same generation compared to someone like Jon Stewart, late 20s, early 30s? From 28 to like 33, somewhere around there? Because it changed the whole dynamic of why he'd be pushing the man's buttons. Like I said before, in that first trailer I broke down, there was something eating away at Hal Jordan. There was something for the first time in Hal Jordan's life that's making him feel a version of fear that he's never felt before, that he never truly experienced. Because about being a Green Lantern, you gotta be fearless. You gotta have this strong willpower against all odds, against all over things. That you still have the mind frame, the courage, and the bravery to do what needs to be done against all odds, and especially against evil. But for the first time in Hal Jordan's career, which happens to a lot of people, athletes, boxers, game developers, to a lot of people, is there's one thing you can't beat. There's one thing everybody universally can never overcome. No matter how much money you get, no matter how much influence you got, no matter what you achieve in life, age will affect you. No matter what. It's the one thing that never stops. And the fascinating thing about time is it's all about perspective. Time, unlike what most people think, does not move in the way people think it does. Now, there's no way to reverse it, but 2 hours to one person could feel like 5 minutes. And 2 hours to another person can feel like a lifetime. And it's the strangest thing, because it's the exact same amount of time being used, but why does it feel so drastically different to two different people? The perspective of how time moves is everything. You believe time moves fast? You believe it moves fast. But how can you say that time is going by fast when you spend 8 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, like you're not watching that clock at the job? I was. I knew every hour. I knew by every, like, I don't see where this whole fast time thing comes from. Well, it's when you get off the work and it's just not how you spend your hours, no. But I come down to time management and paying attention, but it's a very fascinating thing. So with Hal Jordan starting to age, like I said in that first interview, the first trailer breakdown, Hal Jordan was told by the Guardians of Oa to train his replacement in Jon Stewart. He was not chosen. He was brought in to replace Hal Jordan when he gets too old. And they're starting to see Hal Jordan in his age compared to other Green Lanterns who are different aliens who have different lifespans as a liability. And as I said before, imagine you put in 30 years, have a near flawless record, and you have your boss coming in and say, well, we don't think you can keep up anymore. We gotta do this just in case. What do you mean by just in case? What do you mean by that? So you're not going to just let me go out like everybody else. You're just going to automatically choose somebody. What you say I'm not good enough now? Because you always got to think about this. The ring always chooses. Because it is like a sad system of how the Green Lantern ring works. Because usually when a Green Lantern gets bested, gets killed, or anything that happens to him, the ring goes find the next viable successor. So compared to anybody else, one of the greatest Green Lanterns of all time, Hal Jordan, is being told that he's too old? Well, you couldn't let him go out like the rest of the lines? You see him now as a lot, what, he got dementia on the job or something? Now he's a liability? Now? And one of the best part about this trailer is he keep mentioning, are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Like I said, for the first time in Hal Jordan's life, he's having his career be questioned over something that he can't even control, and which arguably that nobody have any just cause to say that Hal Jordan can no longer keep up. But it's kind of like Doc from Cars. They didn't even give me a chance. They just threw me away and went on to the next rookie. Because it didn't matter. It didn't matter what you could still put up. It doesn't matter what numbers you can put on the scoreboard. When they say you're done, you're done. And I would say this nagging away that's eating away at Hal Jordan's soul. It's one thing, Hal Jordan get taken out, he gets replaced, he get injured or something like that. But it's the fact that they're doing it for insurance. with seemingly no just cause. But the Guardians of always seems like they justified in their decision. It's just like, how, after everything I've done, how could you? And then you have the other element, Jon Stewart, his replacement, the man coming in for the job. Now you expect initially, it'll be a nice, friendly relationship. Now How is not too, happy to do this job, but he's not going to be a jackass about it. He got his own way to train, and that's what it looks in the first trailer. Like, how Jordan got some unusual training methods, but they may bump heads. They may one think the other one's better. Young sport. The young horse versus old style debate. But it seems like that's not what's happening. It seems like Jon Stewart in some way feels, not without a shadow of a doubt, that he's a better choice to be a Green Lantern. And as far as we don't know why he believes in that. We really don't. But he got 100% confidence in himself. 100% confidence that he can do this better than Hal can. And we don't know why. And the only thing I can think of, now somebody say, would the incident I'm talking about be why the Guardians of always want to replace him? I say no. Could that be like an Earth thing? Like, mess it up on one planet, it's not going to justify your position in the whole sector. But if you age out and become a liability, you will be. Just like how that aging employee started to slowly get pushed out for somebody younger. Why can't you just let me retire when I want to? Who are you to decide to throw in the towel? It's the same thing with some of these manga artists or comic book artists. Well, you could just give up or so on and so on. Who are you to decide what I do with my career? Who are you? Who are you? You don't care. You don't. So it's just me deciding how I'm going to go out on my own terms. I'll do this until I kick the bucket. Just like how Jordan says. But people can't understand that. So, and there got to be something. Because you would expect you see somebody as a kid for years. You grew up with them. Even if they come off of not one-to-one they used to be, they'll still be like this fairy tale, this glossific, where just like, I can't believe this is the guy. This is the Green Lantern. What about Guy? Shh, 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 shh. We don't talk about him here. We don't talk about him here. But then you meet them. But then the way you expect to meet these people is not the way you always meet them. Most people expect to see these guys at they hype. They want a big fight. They done did something massive. They release a great movie. What if you meet the person that you grew up wanting to meet after a giant controversy? After something went horribly wrong? And this is your first time interacting. How do you act? Do you ridicule them like the public? Or you give them a chance to try to see how they are as a human being? Which most people don't even try to do, because as soon as you get labeled by something, that's what you become. Doesn't matter whether it's true or not, they will clown and harass you until then. But remember, everybody else is the problem, not you. So it creates a very interesting paradigm between the two, where both of them have just cause to feel like they do about each other, but it's just that they really play it up to an extreme degree. Now, is Sinestro like one of the main threats? Are we going to get a Parallax Hal Jordan? I can't say anymore. Why? Because we got Sinestro locked up. Someone let me out. Oh! So Sinestro is in jail doing some hard time. Like I said before, if this is pre-Yellow Ring Sinestro, we have a chance. If it's post-Yellow Ring Sinestro, because the showrunner already said we won't be seeing other colored lanterns. Now, we don't know what the finale is going to be like, but at the current moment, we're not going to be seeing any other colored lanterns. So we don't know how much that's developed, right? Could be like an Alan Scott, Hal Jordan type of thing, right? Could be. But if it is pre, and this is Sinestro in 2016, there's still a chance that he can become the main villain. Because my opinions about Parallax has not changed. Because once again, what was the tagline of this trailer? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Why would this be something so heavily emphasized on? Unless, like I said before, Hal Jordan is starting to crack. He is starting for the first time in his career to have fear. When it's funny because it's not even natural fear. He hasn't lost his bravery. But it's how other people are viewing him and his reputation is affecting how he views himself. And it's very sad, but it happens to people all the time, where it's just like you can believe that you can be this unstoppable force, but as soon as you hear people, even if it's people that you dislike, start to whisper and say things behind your back and do all these other things, you like certain people, I'm not even beyond this, where the cracks start to form on the armor. the self-doubt starts to build. And the fact that that's the thing, there's certain things that Hal Jordan can't deny. He can't deny his age. He can't. He can't deny whatever controversy he got in on Earth to not be seen as this guy. Cause now I think about it, if Hal Jordan was on TV and he's going to these different towns and places, why aren't anybody excited to see him? We saw how Superman got treated. We see how the Justice Gang get treated. But Hal Jordan is showing up to a small town, and he was on national television, and you seen nobody cheer this guy on. You seen nobody like ask for an autograph. Nobody. It'd be like The Rock, or it'd be like Rock, Robert Downey Jr., or any of these big time guys showing up to a small town and just look at him. Look at him. Imagine Tony Stark shows up and he's another guy. I'm not saying he won't be treated like a normal person, but people, take pictures, try to ask for autographs, and sometimes they leave you as you is, other times they don't. But it's just very weird that no one has tried to treat him like a celebrity. He just exists. So that controversy thing has to be true. And that changed Jon Stewart's viewpoint on him. And if Hal Jordan can mess up like that, maybe he isn't fit for the job. Or never was. I don't know. Okay, you look at it at that point, you will see why Jon Stewart is applying that pressure to Hal Jordan. Really applying that pressure that you may not be actually ever was fit for this job. And a big good counterpoint is, you think Guy Gardner is? You think he is, but I'm not? So you have the Guardians of the Aura doubting you. You have the people on Earth rejecting you. And you have the person you're supposed to replace you thinking that you're not even, that you was never ever fit for the job in the first place. Like, a lot of people don't understand how that feels, because they'll never be on that other point of having your whole career be ridiculed, having your whole career say be nothing, that you was just quote unquote, the kids say fraud, agenda, fraud. You never feel it. They say being looking upon somebody else's shoes, give people a chance, show empathy and compassion. Most of the population don't gotta do that. But as soon as you get some money, somehow you gotta be held to this godlike standard that you can't punch down. So you're saying the only reason these people, like, if this is olden times, right, the logic is, don't you dare slaughter that man, you're supposed to be better than that. I'm not saying it's justified to do what they do, but everybody should be able to be held to the same standard. Just like how you don't hop out of your shoes and talk froggy without someone being some consequences, that should happen to anybody, no matter what the level is. And this is why the laws of the land matters. Because no matter how big you think you are, no matter how tough you think you are, you're never bigger or stronger than the government. Even the people that live and run it. And that's how it's supposed to be. Is it run like that? Of course it's not. Look at the people who's running it. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about the people at the bottom holding this rotten thing up. They can be more informed. They can apply pressure to politicians and they sit there and do nothing. All they do is play favorite color game. My favorite color is red. My favorite color is blue. Are you gonna hold your own people to the fire? No, you're not. No, of course you're not. But I'm telling you, the politicians reflect the people that live here. All of them. Both sides. All of them. But they'll never admit it. Get back to the main point. They'll never understand that ridicule. What it's like to have your whole career thrown to the wayside over one incident, over one mistake. Whether it was right or wrong. So that's why I brought up the majors thing. Because whether you like the man or not, how does a person run from the supposed victim, still get charged? Now, one thing I will say, if John would have just broke up the relationship, because the way it's looking like, he was actually potentially cheating, talking to somebody on that phone. If that was the case, he didn't deserve to go through the legal system, but you should have just ended that relationship and moved on. Hey, look, best time, get that nice happy text, phone call, and just roll out of there. Especially if I don't live with each other, just roll on, potentially file a restraining order. Yeah, most people want to understand how that feels. So is this Hal Jordan getting inflicted by all this pressure? If everybody doubted him, everybody not believing him. Now, some might say, well, it's to be expected. It's a different type of doubt when you're unproven. It's a different kind of doubt when you're unable to prove what you actually got. But when you got actual proof of what you've done and what you've succeeded in your career, and people are still treating it like it's nothing, it comes to the point where before you could just say I didn't do anything. I was unproven. I was just another name that was on the rise. Now that I am, it was never good enough. So all the emotions and the interviews and the cheers and all the praise and the merchandise, it was all a lie. It was all a lie. Hey, look, man. I still want Parallax to take control of Hal Jordan at the end of the show. I still want that Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner team up moving. Like everything I said before in the previous video, I still want it to happen. The only thing that changed is Sinestro going to be there at the end as Sinestro of the Yellow Lantern Corps? Because if he is in jail the whole show, then it's... I will accept it. I will. Because the door is still open. Like, the Parallax theory is not confirmed. It's just what I personally believe. Because they're hiding something here on the planet. And the Guardians aura, there's no, sure, we already had Parallax, and we already had Lex Luthor as a villain. Shut up. Shut up. But this time be different. His influence, his existence is like a disease affecting the soil, is affecting the water. And for the first time, it is affecting Hal Jordan. And the reason why it's emphasizing on Jon Stewart, because what if Jon Stewart pressuring Hal, and all these other pressures coming down on Hal, causes him to crack? And maybe if Jon Stewart would have showed more compassion to this aging man, give him some more leeway, and try to see things from his perspective, maybe Hal would not end up being controlled by Parallax at all. But since he was just like everybody else, Jon, applying that ruthless pressure, making sure he's held accountable, you're not the general public. Like I said before, most people don't know how these people are off camera. You haven't talked to these people in real life. You don't know what these people are actually like. So you uphold them to a standard that was never real in the first place. What, because I gave you a nice smile, gave you a few handshakes and signed some autographs, now they're a god? Now you worship him like him a god? And then since you don't meet your own personal standards or give an opinion that you dislike, you become the devil. And it potentially creates a very sad story. That the fall of Hal Jordan did not happen in a day. But it was slowly chipped away at him by everything he believed in his life. His family, his friends, his reputation, his career, his job, his planet, everything. Over time chipped away and betrayed. Until he's left with all that promises him to give him a little bit more than what he got now. And that is Parallax. I'm telling you, there's no guarantee, but it's just that's what I personally want it to be, Parallax. And that way, if there's a solo Jon Stewart movie, that movie would be incredible. Green Lanterns versus Yellow Lanterns, defeating the Guardians. Oh, I've already laid this stuff out. But a Parallax evil, but we get to see Hal Jordan and he turns bad. Not truthfully, no. For most of this show, he's gonna be a good guy. But it plays into a longer story of what happens when a person feels like, I'm telling you, that, like, it's very easy to annoy something when you come into a situation or you accept that people are just going to hate you by default. But it's a lot harder to be on the other side of the fence, ridiculing, joking, clowning, humiliating, and then you get hit with those same cannons. You get lit up by them same guns. It's a different perspective. And it's not one of those things where not everybody's able to understand, oh, this is what it's like to be on the other side. Some people take that as, I've just been betrayed and I've been lied to, on which they never lied to you. They just didn't say they just didn't say they disagree with you. When you were fit for the time period, you were the greatest thing on earth. Until they no longer needed you anymore. Batman. Like a leopard. They need you for right now, but when they don't, they will cast you out. See, their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. It's only as good as it allows them to be. You'll see when the chips are down, these so-called civilized people, they'll eat each other. And did that not happen in Superman? No matter what he's done, no matter what he accomplished, they turned his back on him with no evidence that he was the evil guy at all. At all. That story could have easily been swung against all odds. Superman refused to become evil like his parents. And what did they run with? What did everybody run with? The worst case scenario. Nobody asking for no interviews, no nothing. just threw him away like trash without any proof. Any proof. He was not even on that footage. And he got, if a person, like, that can happen to Superman, imagine what type of weight would come down on Hal Jordan in that same situation. Ridiculed, humiliated, and had your whole career questioned. And it's funny because Hal Jordan, potentially, even with all these people not liking him, still has the courage and the bravery to clock back into work and do the right thing on people who develop this supposed self-righteousness, this moral sense of self-righteous justice, even though these are the same people that will get exposed for doing something 10 times worse. Trying to compensate for something, buddy. Same people. So that's why, in my opinion, this create a very interesting story. It'd be a story that we've never seen before in Green Lanterns. Green Lanterns have always had potential for in-depth storytelling, heavy, rich characters, but it's the only thing people want. And like I said, they just want to see it. They don't care about how good the Green Lantern story is. I just want to see it. So you see it, and it's not what you want because you just wanted to see it, and then it ends up trash. And then you don't blame yourself for wanting good merchandise. You blame the studio for giving you something that they believe that you wanted. Because remember, these test groups are average people. These test groups that go see these movies are not that. Like, you gotta understand, most people do not watch online YouTubers. I'm not even joking. My mother don't know what's going on. Well, she's from an older generation. I have other family members. My siblings don't be watching media like this. They don't. They enjoyed the first Mortal Kombat movie. Like I said, when people walk around here like they represent the entirety of the fan base because they got a fat mouth, when people walk around like, boy, I got all this influence, no one knows who you are. I gotta hit you with that Killian Maddox. No one knows who you are. Nobody. You have a fan base of a few individuals online that you've never met in real life. And that's how you get people getting exposed who got these big followers on Instagram and they set up an event and no one shows up. Besides from 3 people. You played yourself. You're only fun for right now. But when they get their chance, all them people you've been ridiculing, dragging through the mud, you can get your time in the sun too, buddy. And let's see how you feel when the sunlight hits you with after going through the magnifying glass. Look, man, I don't know how I be doing this, man. I really don't. Like, this is not supposed to be an in-depth emotional video, but look, I done did it again. I done did it again, man. Without fail. Without fail. I'm not even mad at it. It's just, I was supposed to be talking about Green Lanterns. I'm throwing out philosophy and potential what-if statements. Like, come on. But it does fit with the character, though. It does fit. So, in my opinion, this trailer is way better. It confirms some things. Like, the only thing that's changed is, like, I still believe that parallax is the thing. It gotta be. Because this whole thing about, are you afraid? There's only one thing that needs people to be afraid. And the fact that it was so emphasized. Somebody say, it'll be about the Green Lantern Corps. Not truly. Green Lanterns are expected to be fearless. They're not fearless by default. Or how Jordan would be seen the way he is. Or many other Lanterns. They are susceptible to fear. They are susceptible to emotions. But the thing is, what do you do with those things when facing against overwhelming odds? The thing that made Hal Jordan so great, added so much to his reputation in his career, that against all odds, whether he was a pilot with no powers or with powers, he would enter the fray and go against whatever evil against all odds. His life on the line or not. So, the fact that a guy like that can be chipped down, that's the thing, like, nobody on this earth is too big to be affected. Now, unless you enter a state where you're at peace with yourself, you know who you are, you know what your life want to be, and you're content with what your life, most people would not be able to handle the ridicule of having their life questioned. They won't be able to take it. They wouldn't. Not even I'm immune from it. But I've entered a state where if I'm already prepared to not give a damn, I refuse to let you tear down my castle when I'm happy in it. No, this shit's going down when I want it to, not when you decide or see fit. If it burns because I set it on fire, not when you decide or see fit. Mm. I know you got thoughts and opinions. This trailer was better than the last. The usual suspects will continue to do what they usually does, even though if they loved the Snyderverse so much, they would have supported the Flash. They would have supported Shazam: Fury of the Gods. They would have supported Black Adam. They would have supported Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. Because whether you like them movies or not, if those movies would have made more money, nobody would have been like, throw Zack Snyder outside the room. Nobody. Because it's still a moneymaker. Still. Make it make sense. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts and opinions. Like, I think I do have too much fun behind this camera, man. I really do. I do love this stuff. Because it's the theorizing, the ideas, the concepts. And it's just, like, you see the entire adventure we just went on just with words. Well, you believe the some of the personal viewpoints of mine. That's up to you. But it's just, it fits with Hal Jordan. It fits with Jon Stewart. And I really hope out of this show we have a main character that's giving everything to everybody else lose himself because everybody betrayed him. And the last person he would have expected to throw him to that fire, even though they had their problems, even though they had their personal beef. When Jon Stewart rolls Hal Jordan under the bus, that is his breaking point. So they were not friends. They wasn't the best of buddies, but at least they had some type of sense of realness to their relationship where it's just like, hey, we know what's going on. We know what's going to be. I got to train you. You got to get trained by me. I'm going to show you the ropes. You're going to learn something. Maybe something good can come out of this. But when that blows up, another failure, another person that's questioning his whole career, like I've just done nothing. I'm telling you, that story would be excellent. And of course, I'm already prepared for the special and be like, look what they did to Hal Jordan. They turned him into a bad guy. They turned him into a bad guy. Hell, look, man. All I can say is, be happy, live life, eat well, have a family if you want to have a family, be single if you're happy being single, and now live life. There's a lot of people promoting doom and gloom, want you to feel bad, want you to have low self-esteem, and want you to feel like the world all the time is collapsing. And the worst part about it is, the way people are acting right now is the same way they was acting during the 1930s during the Great Depression, the same way they was acting during the 60s with the political gains and the civil rights movements, the same way they was acting during the 80s and 90s with the drug epidemic, the same thing that was acting with the internet and TV, violent video games. The behavior you're seeing right now is nothing new. This mass panic or hysteria, or whatever you want to call it, has happened for centuries. Whether it's the gender wars or anything, this is nothing new. So the only question I ask you is, when it's your time to go against all odds, when it's your time to break from the norms and show what you can do, or what your generation can do, what choice will you make? Will you roll over and give in to doubt and self-esteem, or will you stand up, rise against all, as I was saying, when it's your chance to go against all odds, when it's your chance to show the world what it can be, will you roll over, give in to doubt, low self-esteem, and being a doomer and expecting the worst of the world, or will you finally rise up and not only show the world what you are, but show the world what they can be, something better, something the world has never seen before. To show the world what it means to really live. If you didn't like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and what are your thoughts on the opinion of the Atlantis trailer? And I hopefully I really get all my ideas out. Now it's over an hour. Know what time it is? About 2 to 3 hours more editing. Great. It was WK. Peace.